Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Firehouse Finance. My name is Austin Travis, and I will be your host on this podcast. My goal today is to introduce myself and kind of explain what this podcast has been founded for, and what I'll go through on a weekly basis. I would like to at least put out one episode per week. Sometimes it may be more, and sometimes it may be a little bit less because I work as a firefighter and an EMT. Um, Of course, anybody that knows fire, EMS, police, um, nurses, we all kind of work crazy schedules. So this is going to be something that I'm going to try to fit in when I can. I'm 24 years old. I've been in fire and EMS for a little over 8 years now, since 2012. Really enjoyed my career so far. I'm, more of a blue collar worker, and this podcast is it's going to be for me and for you guys. Just kind of learn from each other and better each other, and I think that we have a lot to gain from this. Some topics I'll be going over on a weekly basis are kind of like personal finance, sharing some business news, and investments. I've been working on my M1 finance portfolios. I have two for about a year now. My first portfolio, it's valued at $594.28 at the moment. I'm up $52, 9.59%. So that's been over about a year. My second portfolio I have with M1 Finance is valued at 537.78. I'm up about $29.58, up about 5.82% over the past year. So as far as personal finance goes, I would like to just kind of speak on various ways that you can benefit yourself personally right off the bat. Of course, there's like the Dave Ramsey talk of, pay down your debt as soon as you can and then work on everything else later. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Or you can kind of pay down debt, at a little accelerated pace and try to put in some money in investments and all that kind of at the same time. And that's something that I've done personally. Is try to work on debt and investments and everything at the same time. Of course, I'm a blue collar worker. Like I said, I work a lot of hours for not much money. A lot of people that you hear that do these financial shows and podcasts and YouTube channels are people that you can't really relate to. They're the type of people that are making six figures, and some of them at this point are probably millionaires. So this is a podcast I feel like that just a normal, everyday, average working Joe can enjoy. Young people, middle aged, older people. We can all kind of talk back and forth. I have an Instagram page for Firehouse Finance, and you can reach me at firehousefinance@gmail.com with any comments, questions, concerns that you may have. But the main thing about this is is to help my listeners better themselves financially, whether that be right now or in the future, or if you just enjoy listening. I mean, I appreciate that too. I work a pretty highly stressful job and career, and I feel like this is gonna be my outlet, and I'm pretty excited about it. Personally, of course, I've dealt with some credit card debt, some medical bills that I couldn't really pay, and went to collections. And, like I said, I'm just the average person that is trying to make it and go out and work every day. And I work a lot of hours, and I pay my bills the best I can. But I'm also trying to look towards the future and looking towards not having to stress so much about finances. So that's where the investments come in, handling my personal finances correctly, and the business news kind of couples in with the investments, and I've personally been involved in dividend investing. That is my personal selection on investing is dividend reinvestment because I feel like it compounds the best and you get to see the income as it comes in. This is all through the stock market. Of course, many people have heard about the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. And you've heard about 401ks and you've heard about 457Bs and you've heard about college savings plans and all that. And pretty much everything as far as retirement goes runs through the stock market. That's something that many people don't know and don't really understand. It's like, I don't know, I work at my employer, I put in 6%, every week or every 2 weeks, and they do something. Well, that's something that is good to know about it. It's good to know where your money is going, how much of your money is going to it. If your employer kind of gives you a match on your money that you're putting in, and your investment selections, that's another thing. Is if they have your investment selection picked for you, that could be a bad thing, and you might have to reevaluate that a little bit, and you might have to try to pick something better that's going to have a higher return over, say, the next 20, 30, 40 years. Something that I do is I put in a pretty considerable amount on my 401k at work, and then they have a match with it. And then on top of that, like I said, I have my M1 Finance portfolios. They're taxable accounts that I put into every 2 weeks when I get paid. I put $50 into each portfolio every 2 weeks when I get paid. I know that doesn't sound like much, but over time that's going to compound. And with the dividends coming in, that's going to compound on top. And the portfolios are going to continue to grow. The dividends that come in are going to continue to grow. And the way that the stock market works is buying like a piece of a company, right? You own like a little share. So the dividends are a way for those companies that you invest in to share the profits with the shareholders. Not all companies put out dividends. I only invest in dividend companies in my M1 Finance portfolios. There are some people that use Robinhood or they use Betterment or Stash or different various brokers out there that might only put into stuff like Tesla or Facebook or Netflix or Etsy or stocks like that, and those are just pure growth stocks is what they call them. They're not going to pay you a share of the profits. They're going to take their profits and put the profits back into the business in order to grow and come out with new products and new avenues to make more money. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that I'm not really into. I like to see the dividend payments, whether it be monthly or quarterly or semi-annually or annually. I like to see that money coming in. That's income. It's kind of called passive income. You'll hear that being thrown around, and it is passive when you actually see those dividends come in. But you have to be active to make the money to put into the stock market and put into your accounts. So is it that passive? I'm kind of in the middle on this. Not the type to sugarcoat things. You have to work hard in order to invest and to have a better and brighter future to where you won't have to worry about as much as you do right now. So you do have to work hard. You have to make money. You have to continually put money into your accounts, every week, every 2 weeks when you get paid. Because consistency is key. We all know that. It's one of those things, you'll hear about people that are day traders, or you'll just hear about people that are traders. So they'll buy stocks and they'll trade them the same day or the next day or whatever, and that's not really investing, that's trading. That's something that I'm not into. I have tried it before, and that's something that's very hard to be good at, and you have to know exactly when to pull the trigger on a buy or a sell or when to hold, or it's all very quick, and sometimes it can be within a matter of just a few days, and that's not. I work too much to keep up with something like that, and I wouldn't advise it, especially if you're just now starting out in investing. And honestly, I probably wouldn't advise it for anybody. It doesn't really matter how old or how experienced you are. That's just not something that I would ever advise someone to do. Um, so pretty much the way that Firehouse Finance is going to work for me is I would like to put out an episode each week, and it might be twice in a week, or it might be once every 2 weeks because of my crazy work schedule and the crazy hours that I work. So just bear with me. Like I said, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on any of the different avenues. You can comment, you can subscribe, you can send me an email. I'm on Instagram at Firehouse Finance. You can email me at firehousefinance@gmail.com. Again, that's firehousefinance@gmail.com. Feel free to message me on Instagram. Leave a message here on Anchor. I'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I plan on running my podcast on YouTube as well. So feel free to spread the word, tell your family, tell your friends. This is something that I feel like I'm going to enjoy. I think you guys can enjoy, and you can kind of relate to somebody like me that's just a normal, everyday blue collar worker that's trying to make moves for herself. I'm trying to have a better, brighter future and put some money into investments so I don't have to worry so much when I get older. My family won't have to worry about so much when we get older. And maybe I could even potentially leave money for the next generation. I mean, that's something that you can also think about, is leaving generational wealth for your children and your grandchildren and other relatives and or friends. And I know money's not everything, and that's definitely not what this podcast is about. I think that you need to take ample time for family and friends and whatever activities that you enjoy doing. But I think that finances are a big part of our lives, and it's something that we should all pay attention to and try to do good with. I think that it's great to pay your bills. It's great to keep up with things. It's great to put money into investments, and I just feel like that's something that everybody should do. You should just try to stay on top of things, and it's not even finances. You should try to stay on top of things at your work, with your family, with your friends, with your church, um, just various different things. I'm the type of person I like to stay up on things. So I like to keep my oil changed in my vehicle. I like to change the spark plugs whenever the manufacturer recommends, and things of that nature. I like to be proactive instead of reactive, because if you start thinking about personal finances at age 55 or 60, sometimes that's hard for people to take. It's like, the last 30 or 40 years, all I did was just work and go home and spend my money. So now they don't have anything. They don't have a retirement. They still have a whole lot of bills and debt, and so now they're looking towards the future, and they're kind of panicking and not really sure what they're going to do. So, I think that it's good to start making decisions early. Like I said, I'm 24 years old, and this is something that I've been researching and watching videos about, reading articles about for years. I even took a personal finance class in high school. I have an associate's degree in fire science, and I'm working on a bachelor's degree in business administration. So this is something that I'm passionate about, and I think that I'm going to enjoy. So with that being said, I'm going to give an update on my M1 portfolios each week for the investment section of this podcast. Maybe talk a little bit about some business news and some personal finance things. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to find me on Instagram at Firehouse Finance. You can also email me at firehousefinance@gmail.com. The website for Anchor is anchor.fm/Firehouse Finance. Again, that is anchor.fm/Firehouse Finance. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you.